Right, let's get straight into it. A couple of nights ago now, Anthony Joshua loses all his belts against Usyk in London in front of over 60,000 people. I wouldn't say I'm shocked. I'm a little bit surprised. Before we jump into it, you all right though, Shane?
Not too bad, mate. Getting over a slight illness. Thought I had COVID for 4 days in a row. I've been like out on my feet, but I managed to sort of like keep an eye on the fight, sort of late at night. Shocking, really shocking. But I'll let you sort of go first on your sort of view on sort of how it panned out, and I'll sort of give a little bit of input as to what I thought was going to happen. So I'll let you fire away, Tom, because I know you've got like a point of view on it all.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm certainly not gonna slate Anthony Joshua. Usyk is, pound for pound great fight. And on Saturday night, his movement, his footwork, his work rate, his ability to just move around the ring the way he did was incredible. And I just watching it, I just feel like Joshua, I don't know what it is with him, because after the Ruiz first loss, it's almost like he's sort of lost his big attributes, which is his power, his ability to hurt people. But when he hurt someone, he was a clinical finisher. And I remember saying to you last time, when you said it to me, that was one of his best traits. But I thought it was going to be a bit of a chess match to start with. All boxing matches sometimes can be a little bit cagey, and understandable when you're, fighting for the heavyweight title in front of 60,000 people at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Massive occasion. So yeah, a little bit cagey to start with, bit of a chess match. But he was throwing shots, and he, a couple of times he caught Usyk, and it sort of buzzed him a little bit. But he would hit him, and he would hurt him a little bit, but he wouldn't finish it up. And there was no real conviction about what he was doing. And I think as the rounds went on, I think he had a little bit of joy in the middle rounds, but as the rounds went on, especially at, the championship rounds, Usyk just stepped it up a gear. He came out from the corner every round with a fast pace. And for me, Anthony Joshua is, he's not a 12-round fighter. He needs to hurt people and get them out. And I don't know. I'm just really just disappointed. Really, I just feel like he could have done more. I think sometimes, though, having said that, when the opponent is that good, you've just got to sometimes say, do you know what, the better man won on the night. Eddie Hearn's very graceful in defeat. After I saw an interview on IFL with Coogan, and more or less said, the same thing. Hats off to Usyk, pound for pound great. It's all well and good us saying, no, and Joshua could have done X, Y, and Z, but when you're in there with someone that maybe is not letting you do the things that you would normally do, it's difficult, and it's easy for me to sit here and say it. I've not got to fight him, but I don't know. I just feel like he'll watch that fight back and think, do you know what, I could have let my hands go a little bit more, could have put a little bit more conviction into what I was doing. And my friend made a good point as well. He said, well, who was hurt more in the fight? It was definitely AJ. In the 12th round, he was up on the ropes. He looked absolutely gone. I know he was clearly tired. The speed of the fight, the pace of it was incredible. But yeah, I don't know. Just for me, I don't know. I wanted him to do a lot more. I think let his hands go, throw his combinations. I don't know whether it is he just doesn't trust his chin anymore. He's worried about getting hit, but. Just disappointed, really, because yeah. I think now that rematch, it's not a must win, but if he loses, not only, I don't know, where does he go if he loses? And on that performance and the way Usyk looked, I wouldn't be surprised if he lost again.
Yeah, to be honest, I think he will take a look at himself. And I saw the interviews with him after about the process, and this is a process, and I've learned from it. And you just hope he has learned from it, because at the end of the day, I think what the pundits were surprised with, like the ex-boxers, the current boxers, the heavyweights, whether it was Dylan White, whether it was Chisora, whether it was Nelson, whoever was being spoken to, whether it was Roy Jones, everyone was expecting him to put it on Usyk. And he didn't sort of go in and try to put it on him. And like you've touched on, it's all good and well saying put it on them, but if the other opponent ain't going to let you do that, then that might be where the difficulty is. But at the end of the day, I think Joshua went in to try and outbox a superb, sublime technician of a boxer, and that's not in AJ's toolbox. He's not the superior boxer. He can't go out there and think, I'm going to go toe to toe with you, take over 12 rounds and do it on point. It's never going to happen. If it went 12 rounds, it was always going to be Usyk, and that sort of panned out as it was. He's got to go in, and he's got to go in manhandle him. He had to be dominant, and he wasn't dominant from the beginning. So that set the tone. That's where it went wrong.
I think he just had to go in there, rough him up, let his hands go a little bit more, make Usyk respect his power, because Joshua is a brawler. You know, he was never going to outbox him. Usyk is his pedigree, over 300 amateur fights, you know, Olympic gold medalist, undisputed cruiserweight champion, moved up to heavyweight. I think Derek Chisora gave him a harder night. I think he did. And yeah, I don't know. I just a little bit, just disappointed really. I just felt like he could have done a lot more, but it wasn't to be. You know, all credit to Usyk. You know, he stepped up and he's shown now he's a real contender, and he's going to be a difficult man to beat.
Yeah, we said last week. We said he's a technician. He's got the best footwork in the cruiserweight division and in the heavyweight division. He showed that. He just absolutely mastered AJ in the middle of the ring. He kept him in the ring. He sort of rotated around him, got around him, and AJ just didn't know where he was after the time. And for Usyk to be able to get in with a shorter reach, out jab him, land more jabs on him, throw quicker combinations. Again, it's like what we said last week. There's a bit of something. There's something wrong with AJ now where he's unwilling to let his hands go for fear of getting caught. You wouldn't see Mike Tyson fearful of throwing a right hand, or Riddick Bowe fearful of throwing right. All great boxers, all great heavyweights, they don't mind throwing their bombs, because that's what they need to damage the other boxer. When you, as a boxer, you start thinking, I'm wary about unleashing or letting my hands go because I don't want to get caught with a combination. There's something not mentally right with you. That's preventing you from going on further. And that's an issue.
It's almost like he's caught in two minds. It's like he hits someone, and it's like part of him wants to go in and throw some combinations and try and get them out, but there's another part of him that's not willing to, because like you're saying, he's maybe he doesn't want to get hit. But I think if Anthony Joshua is fighting, I'd rather watch him go in there like he did to get him in these positions when he beat Klitschko, when he when he defended it a few times against the likes of Parker, etc. I'd rather him see him go in there and actually try and hurt people and actually stop them than try and outbox people, especially Usyk. You know, you think of Tyson Fury fighting Wilder in a couple of weeks. Wilder's not going to go in there and try and outbox Tyson Fury, because that would be a suicide mission. He's got to try and knock him out, because there's no way he's beating him over 12 rounds. Yeah, so I just wanted to get your thoughts on it, mate. It's a couple of days after, you know, time to sort of let it sink in a little bit.
I wouldn't count AJ out of the rematch. I wouldn't bin him off straight away and say, yeah, he's done. I think he's getting a lot of flack out there at the minute. I'm hearing people say, oh, AJ's fake, he's this, he's that. I think he's going to have the opportunity to try and prove people wrong the next time round. He's got to go in and he's got to have the correct game plan in place. If he goes in all guns blazing and gets knocked out, he had to go. Then we know where we are.
And that's it. I'd rather watch him fight and lose like that, like the Klitschko fight. You know, he was close to being stopped. If Klitschko had been a couple of years younger, he probably would have stopped him, but he let him off the hook. I'd rather see him go in there, do what he's good at, and stop Usyk. Like you say, I wouldn't write him off. I'm hoping he wins the rematch, of course, but just makes for another massive, intriguing fight.
Yeah, and a lot of the pundits also, they're going along the lines of, well, obviously AJ's saying, well, it's a process for him. He's going to take things out of this fight. But then on the other hand, Usyk is just exactly the same. Usyk and his trainers, they will look at everything, and Usyk will probably think to himself, you know what, I could probably get rid of AJ quicker this time.
That's the thing as well. Yeah, that's it. On one hand, AJ can go away, do what he needs to do, but Usyk's been in there with him now. He knows what to expect. He's only going to get stronger at the heavyweight division. His boxing ability is just a masterclass. It's like watching Messi play football or Federer play tennis. It's just the elite. He's just an elite athlete, an elite boxer, and he's got it all. He can take a punch. He showed he can take a punch. AJ hurt him at times, but not once did he look like he was going to be taken out. He can move. He can get out of trouble when he's in trouble, and when he's got someone hurt as well, he's not scared to throw some punches. So makes for another interesting fight. It's just a shame that we've got to wait till February, March to watch it.
Yeah, I think there's going to be some interesting fights out there now. Obviously with Fury and Wilder, but even if you look at some of the other heavyweights that are around now, Dillian Whyte, he's probably going to fancy himself against Usyk. He's going to think to himself, I could put it on him, give him a go, rough him up, do what Chisora did. I beat Chisora, maybe I can beat Usyk. Dubois, Joyce, all of them are probably going to think, do you mean we can go in there and potentially maybe do better than what Joshua done? That's the funny thing about what's happened. All of a sudden, those heavyweights that are there are thinking, potentially I can go in and I can give him trouble. They're not going to go down the same game plan as Joshua. None of these boys that we just mentioned, those 3 fights, none of them will think, oh, I'll go in and try to outbox him. All 3 of them would go in there and try and have it with him. On the other hand, Fury goes in there with him. I think Fury does him.
I think so. Fury
does him all day long.
Yeah, I think so. I think that the height difference between Usyk and Joshua is 3 inches, and that's the same. And what am I trying to say? Yes, yeah. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. Fury 6'9", Usyk 6'3", big height difference. And we all know that Fury's an amazing mover. He can also go orthodox southpaw. So yeah, a different fight, but one I would fancy Fury in. But yeah, it just makes it interesting. It throws the whole heavyweight division open again, and just excited for the rematch and excited to see Whyte fight in October as well in the next month. Yeah,
Whyte's up next, Fury. But yeah, it's interesting just to see like the other guys come through as well. It's obviously Dubois had his upset against Joyce, didn't he? But he's got a couple of fights under his belt. He's going to come back. It's quite interesting just to see what's going to happen.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, then, mate. Well, I just want to get our reactions on Joshua losing a couple of nights ago. Hope you can win the rematch. If you're watching the video, thanks a lot. Leave some comments. Want to know your thoughts as well. Whether you think he should do something different or the game plan was wrong. Yeah, like to see what you think. Would appreciate that. And subscribe. Anything else you want to add, Shane?
That's about it, mate. That's about it for today, I think.
Perfect. All right then, mate. Well, glad you're feeling better, and I'll see you on the next one.
Cheers, mate. Laters.
See you later.